You are listening to the IoT For All Media Network.
Welcome, Steve. How's your week going so far?
So far, so good. It's only Tuesday, so things can go sideways quickly, Ryan.
Well, that's good. Hopefully the week is pretty smooth sailing from here on out. I do appreciate you taking the time to kind of chat about this topic that we're going to get into here in a second, but I wanted to have you quickly introduce yourself to our audience.
Yeah, you bet. So my name's Steve Hegenderfer, and I run the developer ecosystem team at Semtech. And Semtech is a company that's been around for a long time. They're one of the leading suppliers of high-tech performance analog and mixed signal semiconductors and advanced algorithms. Where I work in Semtech specifically is a business unit called WSP, which is wireless and sensing products. And I focus on LoRa and LoRaWAN technologies within that particular business unit.
And high level, just for our audience that may be unfamiliar, talk about LoRa, LoRaWAN, kind of what it is, the difference, kind of how they work together in a sense.
Yeah, you bet. So it's actually pretty simple between LoRa and LoRaWAN. LoRa, you can think of as the physical layer, right? So the actual chip. LoRaWAN, think of it as the protocols on top of it, right? So how does that radio communicate? All the protocols that go into a radio packet that's secure and robust and communicates well and has interoperability. That's LoRaWAN. So LoRa is a physical layer. LoRaWAN you can think of as all the protocols and everything that really makes it run and really makes it shine.
Fantastic. Okay, great. So the main topic today is around the LoRa Developer Portal that you all built. Talk about just kind of what it is, the purpose of it, what's different about it, kind of in comparison to what was being used before for developers. Just kind of high level that for our audience to kind of get them up to speed.
Yeah, you bet. So I think in a nutshell, anyone that's been doing IoT development, it's not easy. Right? We've been talking about it for years, how great IoT development is and how far it's come along. And it has. It's come a long way. But it's still very difficult, right? I mean, you've got end nodes or sensors, you've got gateways, you've got network servers, application servers, cloud services, and you have to stitch all this stuff together. With LoRaWAN, it's no different than any other IoT technology in that regard, right? So you still have all these components and pieces. What I'm trying to do and what Semtech is trying to do is we're trying to create a developer portal where all the different constituent pieces that make up an IoT solution, we string together and we show developers how to do that. Or we can dive deep on any one of those components. But the idea behind the developer portal is, I hate to say one-stop shop because it sounds so trite, but the idea is it is one spot where developers can go to find all the information they need to about LoRa and LoRaWAN, whether they're creating sensors, whether they're creating gateways, whether they're creating applications. I may be, let's say, a systems integrator or a person who's got a great idea. And I just want to figure out, how do I do this? How do I operationalize this? What are the pieces, right? You can come to the LoRa Developers Portal at Semtech and get all the information you need to build and prototype those solutions up.
So it's a real kind of educational hub for how to, with best practices, other resources and things like that are really going to help developers who are implementing LoRa, building around LoRa, and just making it something that is, I guess, more consistent across the space.
Yeah, absolutely. And the nice thing about it is we try to meet developers where they are. So, for instance, if you don't know anything about LoRaWAN, we have materials for you to bring you up to speed on, hey, here's how LoRaWAN works, and here's how it works in the context of what you're trying to do. On the other hand, if you are super advanced and you want the latest app notes or the latest best practice or technical documentation, that is available too. There's one piece of kind of content on the LoRa Developer Portal, which is we call Academy. And Academy is really nice because if you are brand new to LoRaWAN, it actually walks you through the entire process of all of the background skills that you need, all of the nomenclature, all the technologies that fit into a LoRaWAN solution, and really shows you how they fit together and gives you that background and the context of how the things work. And it's a great
Right.
example, Ryan, of some training that we created for developers, no matter where you are. It's built up of about 11 modules. You can go in the module you want. You can start from the beginning and go all the way through. But it really is designed, to your point, Ryan, to train people on how to use this stuff. And then you go one step further. Once you've gone through something like Academy, we have interactive tutorials and hands-on labs. And we've got best practices guides, and we've got deep technical papers to go into. So we really do take training of developers super seriously on the dev portal.
Fantastic. And talk a little bit about, and I'm kind of actually curious about this, is where the demand came from this. What were you seeing happen before this was built that was causing you kind of internally to say, look, we need to build something like this. We need to build a portal aimed at developers for that to help them do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, it's so LoRaWAN as a technology is relatively new, right? 6-7 years old. It's not that old. And the ecosystem built around it, though, grew up super fast. And so you had a lot of different businesses and companies and constituencies and individuals who were super interested in it, super interested in what it could do and how they could harness it. And you had pieces of information all over the place. Where Semtech sits in the ecosystem, we make radios. We make LoRa radios to use with LoRaWAN solutions. And so really, being kind of in this unique spot in the ecosystem, we wanted to try to make things simpler and really provide focus on LoRaWAN solutions. And that's kind of the impetus, Ryan, of how we started this journey with this developer portal. We really wanted to, for the ecosystem, give them something where they could actually get some training, get a leg up, figure out where to start on their journey, and have one kind of consistent spot where they wouldn't have to look all over the place to find this information, this material. So that's really the impetus of, why did Semtech create a LoRaWAN developer portal? It was really to try to provide some best practices and guidance for developers on the journey.
And I assume this also helps kind of close any type of skills gap that may have existed prior to this being developed.
Yeah, and one of the things that I've found is that every technology is a little bit different, right? So Wi-Fi is different from Bluetooth, which is different from Zigbee, which is different from Z-Wave, which is different from LoRaWAN and NB-IoT, right? And all these technologies are a little bit different. So there's a skills gap between, let's say, what you're doing with something like BLE and what you would do with LoRaWAN. While a lot of the paradigms are the same, to your point, as a developer, I need to know more about the protocol and how the actual protocol works when I'm building my application, right? Because there are pieces that just aren't the same. Architecturally, yeah, sure, a lot of the IoT solutions are the same, but when you get to the implementation and creation of your application, you have to know some of those differences, and the skill gap becomes readily apparent. So, yeah, the idea is we've got materials to try to fill in those gaps to help you on your way.
Fantastic. And one of the things I wanted to dive in a little bit more to before we wrap up here is just kind of like and we've kind of talked about them high level, but what are some of the other key components of the portal and really focusing on the things that you really can't find anywhere else? Like what, kind of stresses the importance of something like this. And again, this conversation is not meant to just actively just promote everything that's going on and make this a super promotional episode, because I think the thing that's important to note is that this portal is not just a way for you all for more people to adopt LoRa, but there's companies out there who work with LoRa on a daily basis, and they're bringing it to their customers, and those customers want to know that that the people that they're working with really know their stuff. So this is kind of a good thing for the industry as a whole when it comes to working with LoRa solutions. So I just wanted to make sure we clarify that so people don't think we're just sitting here just trying to promote this portal just to be promotional.
Yeah, and to your point, Semtech looks at it is the same way, where we sell radios, we sell LoRa radios, which go into LoRaWAN solutions. But we look at it from a bigger picture of the ecosystem. And to be quite honest, Ryan, I hope that over time, more and more companies in this space, in this kind of LoRaWAN space, start providing materials like Semtech is, right? To the original question, kind of about some of the things that make it unique, I'll go back to, we talked about Academy a little bit earlier, which is really this great training kind of from soup to nuts. We've got hands-on labs that you can go into, and the idea is you go grab one of the Raspberry Pis in your backyard, you buy a $50 hat for it, you create your own gateway, you purchase a cheap evaluation kit, and we'll show you how to build from soup to nuts, the device all the way to the dashboards in the cloud, right? We've got interactive tutorials where, let's say, you need to know how to use a particular cloud service, right? Well, check the interactive tutorials. There's a good chance that you'll be able to find a small video on how to do that, right? We've got plenty of tech papers and documentation and things like that. We're starting to come out with different types of calculators and tools to help you figure out what the packet size might be in flight. We've got a full-on LoRaWAN network server that's free. So as a developer, if I'm creating these solutions, we've got end nodes, we've got gateways, and the gateways send traffic to a network server. We've got a network service that we hang off of the developer portal that is absolutely free to developers to help them build and prototype those solutions. So we're trying to incorporate all the different pieces of the ecosystem to allow developers to create a solution all on one site. So you don't have to go all over the place to find this stuff. And Semtech isn't in the business of network servers, and we don't want to be, and we're not in the business of creating gateways, and we don't want to be. We sell radios, but we see the value in the ecosystem, and we see the value in all the different constituencies being knowledgeable enough to create solutions and bring stuff to market and really harness the goodness that is LoRaWAN. And
Absolutely.
so, like I said, I hope that more and more companies start delivering materials and collateral and stuff like we're doing. But right now, there aren't a lot of them that have everything in one place, right? And so take advantage for what we've got today. I'm hoping that more and more companies start putting out great training and educational materials and best practices and all that kind of stuff. And it will come, right? As technology takes off, more people adopt it, it will come.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's kind of actually interesting when we're talking about this and how you're thinking about what this does for the industry as a whole. When we started IoT For All, that was kind of our mission as well, is to build a hub for just educational material from the experts around the industry on what IoT is, how it benefits businesses, all the value kind of it provides, so that people weren't having to go elsewhere to try to, or all over the place, I guess, to try to find all the little pieces. They come to one place to really understand, wow, IoT is something that can benefit my business. I can learn about it. I can adopt it here, all that kind of stuff. So
exactly. To that point, Ryan, like we take, we use all of the partners in the ecosystem to help us create content as well. So for the folks out there that are listening, like, hey, look, I've got stuff to contribute. Come to the developer portal, contact us, and help us get that material out to the world.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fantastic. So the last thing I wanted to ask you before I let you go here is, how can developers access the portal, learn more, find out more information, kind of all that good stuff?
Absolutely. It's super easy. Go to LoRa-developers.semtech.com.
Okay.
And you'll see everything right on the front of the web portal. There's a developer journey. There are direct links to tools. There's deep search to find everything you want to. You can go there and get access to Academy, the network server. But go to the developer portal and start.
Okay, fantastic. Well, Steve, this has been a great conversation. Thanks for taking some time to kind of talk a little bit more about this. When we read the report or the announcement of this being built, we knew this had to be something we wanted to have our audience pay attention to, because we're seeing LoRaWAN kind of all over the place. The applications are impressive. It's just the incredible technology that we want to make sure that people are understanding that things are like this are being built to help us as an ecosystem and an industry really move forward on this front. So thanks again for your time. Really appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, Ryan. And just go to the developer portal. Everything's free. Start building.
Fantastic. Thanks again.
Thanks, Ryan.
All right, everyone. Thanks again for watching the IoT For All Media Network. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Be sure to hit the bell notification so you get our latest videos as soon as they become available. But other than that, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.